Wow, just look at that. Yet another 1,000 days has passed. Not only that, but this is the final world tour. Oh yeah, don't mind my skin. Don't mind. This is the final world tour before the big one. Essentially, my plan is to kill these guys. Oh my goodness, the lag. Essentially, my plan is to do a full world. All of this. And I'm not going to zoom out too much because there's some pretty crazy stuff on this map. But I have done a lot this past 1,000 days, and I think with 10,000 days I should have just about everything, all the projects in this world completed to an extent that really shows it off. So the sun is slowly rising, which means it is almost time to get this world tour started. As always, I'm going to be just showing the stuff that I've built in this 1,000-day arc. That's the fireworks done. But yeah, as I said, with the next, when the next 1,000 days are over, I'll be doing a full world tour. So as soon as it hits 6 AM and the world count ticks over, we are going to begin this world tour. And I am so excited to go over to probably the most productive I've ever been in terms of progress. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom! Day 9,000. Let's get started. So, I hope everyone has been well since the last world tour. Something I've actually literally today added was this winding path that takes us over to where I've been working. You can actually see it on the map here. Goes all the way through there. So, I would of course recommend seeing all the previous world tours before this one. Because the first project is actually a continuation of something I already started. And you are stealing sand. And that cannot be happening. So, yeah, so this place has already... We've already gone over this place. This is New Ashgabat. But what I haven't shown is this, which is a full new city, which I am very proud of. Now I have my render distance on quite small because there's stuff over there that I'm going to show in a little bit, but I want to show this place off first. So this was the first place that I worked on with this 1,000-day arc, and it actually began with that monument, which I'll show in a minute, but this was one of the first places that I made. This place is called the Sabr city, and the word Sabr is Arabic for patience, which was definitely true for this place because it took a lot to get all of this sort of this is probably one of my best builds in terms of like pretty extreme detail. I mean, there is there's quite a lot going on, I think, and especially with all these houses and everything going on in the background. There's a lot, I think, which is being shown here, and even though it's empty, I feel like it still invokes quite a populated space, which I really enjoy. I really like with this place how we have sort of this island here, which is showing quite a simple village. It's essentially the villages that you find in deserts. And then moving into this space, we have a slightly more established town, but still using the vanilla villages. And then we have this, which is a much more established place, with flags and towers. It was around this time that I was getting really interested in calligraphy and stuff. So this is actually a form of Arabic calligraphy, this is the square Kufic font. Actually no, that isn't, but over here, this is the square Kufic font of Arabic. Which is quite cool. Moving into this space, it's actually been a while since I've been here, so it's quite nice to go through this all again. But this space is essentially a super smelter, which is not something I've ever actually built before, I don't think. But for one of my projects that I completed, I needed a lot of smooth basalt, and that was collected, or well, it was obviously I actually mined it by hand in the nether, and then I brought it back here, and yeah, I was able to smelt it through this whole system, which is really, really cool. And something else I made was this ship, which I think is really, really good. It has a deck, and it has, oh yeah, I forgot to put this armor here. There's also a map of this full space, which I think is, although all of this is now changed, funnily enough, I might leave it like this. But yeah, I am very happy with this build. There's a bridge here, and access, oh hello Nautilus, access to the nether hub there, essentially. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. I'm not going to show what this beautiful building right here is just yet, because that is going to be part of something a little later on. But yeah, I had such fun designing this, the white palm trees that are here that I've actually ended up scattering elsewhere as well. This flag design, just bringing lots of different elements together into one coherent space, which I think is really good. I wanted this. Basically, I'm not a huge fan of having so many builds just thousands of blocks apart simply because of the biome. I much prefer biomes being closer together, and because the closest desert biome is thousands of blocks away, it just sort of made sense to move the desert here, which needed a transition between, like, obviously here, for example, this space here needs to be changed because it sort of, the transition isn't great. But you'll see that I have started somewhat of a transition with that, with something that's going on over there, but we'll get back to that. The next place I'm going to be getting to is something that I started with the last tour, but it's something that I have continued into this next 1000-day arc. So I welcome you back to the Sunken Star City, which has received quite a lot of progress, I would say. Before, it was just this space over here, and I think that was it. I think it was just maybe this corner bit as well. I can't quite remember, but I know that this space was definitely was done. But I have essentially continued that this style with buildings over here. So so yeah, these are also places taken from the Roblox game Royal High. They're very like pastel, like they're very bright colors. The white and pink and blue and gold is essentially it. I'll show this place and what it looks like in the game. I had to do some changes with some of these areas, but yeah, I'm really enjoying this this build, which is all contained within a drained ocean monument, which is still visible over there. I then have this campus, which is probably the most like dense one. There's a lot of like impossible architecture here for certain. There's the R and the H for Royal High. This is actually Campus 2 from what I can remember, so I'll show that as well. The reason why these places have been built the way that they have is because they actually house some farms. Before I get to that one, I'll show what's inside of this one. So walking into this place, we can see here one of the farms that I built here. Now this is a nether tree farm, which I needed because of the insane amount of warped wood that I needed for these roofs. It doesn't look like a lot, but combined this and this is like 4 shulkers of warped stem. which is pretty crazy. And then this place as well. This is one of the main campuses. This place also has a the farm for pale oak and dark oak. And I actually needed a lot of pale oak for this elusive build, which I've been hinting towards but haven't shown yet. And then over this way is the nether portal. Something that you may have noticed is that like for a lot of my main builds, I'm actually using naturally generated ruined nether portals as my entrance. I feel like it's so cool to be able to use something that's actually just generated in with the world, even like, you know, leaving the loot in the chests and stuff. I think it's really cool to have that as part of the project. So yeah, this place is really coming along. You can see on the map, I essentially need to turn this all white for when we zoom out. I essentially need to turn this whole place white, so that it works on the map of the world, which is a moon and star. I have a lot of shulkers here, and something else is in here, which is the progress of this space so far. And here are some villagers which I needed for another massive project. I have began a lot of projects. I need to stop starting them and start finishing others. But yeah. Also, this thing is... I have no idea what it is. What did I write here? Absolute freak of nature. Yeah, so this portal generated itself. I have absolutely no recollection of building this at any point. And for the nether side too, this just appeared one day, and I've decided just to like put some stuff on it so it's like connected to the water, and I've called it the remnant portal, which I might try to connect to some lore at some point, but I don't know. For now it's just a thing that's there, essentially. So yeah. Oh, one more thing. I actually dug out... Oof. I actually dug out a space under here, and this is a mangrove tree farm, which is really, really cool. I love this space. So yeah, that's it basically. I really hope to have this done. Yeah. So I guess with that, we can go on and fly to probably the biggest project I have ever done, which is something I say a lot, but I think this one is serious because I think it took maybe like 300 days to build, and it is this ginormous mountain range, all built by hand in the world. Now it does look very world edits, which is kind of on purpose, because as it is very obvious, this thing was built with Axiom and with Lightmatica, which is something that I kind of really did not like, and I was quite vocal about not liking. Well, not so much Axiom, but Lightmatica. I really did not like it as a tool, and it was because the way that I had seen it used was by people basically downloading maps online and then just building them, and then sort of claiming that they had built them when they just collected the blocks and made them. But I am realizing now that it is only with these tools that I'm able to cover this great big space right here, which was really lacking anything at all. But I also wanted to limit myself by pushing me to design things around it that made it blend in more. Like, for example, this thing right here, this looks pretty ugly, but it'll force me to think creatively and put something in here that makes it, that sort of ties it into the landscape a lot more. One of those places is this jungle that I have designed, which I think really, like, even on the map, you know, you can see that this space is really, really connected, both with the desert and also with this new mountain landscape. So all back here, it all seems really, really like well connected. There's these rocks along the side here. There's also a gradient here, which is connecting the podzol and grass of the jungle into other tones into the desert, which I think works really, really well. And then this is going to work into some sort of like badlands, like wooded badlands type biome over here. And yeah, I really, really like this modified jungle temple, which does actually have a serve of purpose as well. This is a massive fern farm. This is a massive fern farm, and on the other side there is a big old vine farm, which are blocks that I needed to fill out the space. You can see there's ferns everywhere. There's vines over there. So all in all, I think, like, collectively these locations around here they all complement each other in a way that I think works. And you know, even underwater, there's work that I've done, just cementing it into the landscape a whole lot more. One of the very visible places that doesn't really work is right here. You know, these are very like smooth shapes, but with the right kind of shaping and stuff around this, you know, if there are other things connecting into this, I can connect it in so much more, and it means that I'm not just blindly placing blocks forever. It means that I can sort of just put this whole place in, let it stick out like a sore thumb, and then really, really creatively think, okay, how am I gonna actually adapt this to work for my world? I haven't actually mentioned, which is rather rude of me, I did not design these mountains by myself. All the buildings that you see I do by myself, but this mountain range was actually built alongside my good friend Slim G, who helped me to design all of this, and I'm very, very grateful for that, because I mean, I have actually designed my own mountains now, and I'll show you those a little bit later, but this was a really, really good step in terms of helping me establish myself as a axiom builder. And you can see here's the absolute ton of pale oak. There's all the deep slate that I collected from a tunnel bore, which I'm not sure if I've shown before, but it kind of is what it is. And then here's all the smooth basalt that I needed. So yeah, moving on, we have this space over here, which is also something that has connected my world to these mountains really, really well, and actually stretches all the way round over here. And actually, I think we'll start from back here and approach the build from that way. So with this space, you can see here, we've got this spruce forest. And this is just part of the world. You can see there's foxes and berries and everything. So the best way to connect this part to the mountains was to put trees everywhere, which is what I did. So there's trees and there's flowers, and I even sculpted in some waterfalls, which you can see over here. You can see this has all been added in, and just really, you know, it looks like this is meant to be here. It does sort of rise up out of nowhere, which isn't very realistic, but I'd intend on terraforming this whole area a little bit more to have some smaller hills. That way it doesn't just seem like flat and then straight up into nothing. I think that'll work a little bit better. But yeah, so there's these great big spruce trees, and then we're going into a coastal village, complete with an island. Actually, this was here before the mountains. There was an island here, which I sculpted a whole town around, and these buildings are actually designed around a real world place that I visited. I visited last year. It is Porto in Portugal, and this is based off of a very famous library, which I will show. I'll put up pictures of all these places, but this building here and that building there especially are taken from that. And yeah, even though this is a purely decorative build, you know, they don't have interiors or anything, I'm very, very proud of this space, reusing the white palms which connect it back to the desert village over that way, and yeah, I especially like this alleyway, which has all sorts of like You know, I really like you've got the vertical lines here, and you've got the horizontal lines along this way. You've got things in the street that make it look overgrown. You can actually access the interior. I might put some sort of farm in here, but I'm really not sure what yet. And then down in here, there's another netherite armor set, because I just have these everywhere. Because what the hell am I meant to do with netherite this far in? And then a nice open space back that way. So connecting it back into the mountain range, we have this coastal village with pine trees. I actually designed some. I don't actually know what kind of trees they are, but I really like the red. It's subtle amongst all the green, but there's I included some red bushes and stuff back there as well, which I feel like just really connects everything in a very satisfying way. And I really like this line especially, that sort of swoops down like that, and those peaks are up in the clouds, covered in snow, looking really cool. And then there's also a bunch of really small houses, and this is done to, like, these houses are especially small to really show the scale of these mountains. I have these really big trees which can sort of make the mountains seem smaller because the trees are so much bigger, but by having the houses really small here at the bottom, it really elevates how big these mountains are. And of course this is all walkable. You can go through everything. You just can't really go in the houses because there's nothing inside. But that's not the purpose of this village. This village doesn't really serve any purpose other than looking really nice when you fly by. There are also some boats here. These boats I actually designed way back when I did the what is that place even called? The place in the cave with the big sun. I forgot what I called that place. The Preservation Center. Oh my goodness, I forgot my own world. But yeah, these I designed in the Preservation Center, and that ship is the ship over in the suburb city, but diagonal. As you can see, it's made on a diagonal, which was a little tricky to design. But even interior wise, you know, it's still there. So yeah, I think that pretty much completes me showing off this. Oh wait, no, there's one more place which I think actually kind of shows how big the mountains are in quite an interesting new way. So way over this way, there is another build that has been put into the mountains, which is this temple that I designed. So this very decorated space. So like, I think it's very easy to like look at this and think, oh, this is quite ugly. But then looking over here and you see, you know, the amount of like color and detail and different blocks that are used. You just have to imagine this over there, basically. But this is a really cool build that I made. This is called the Dream Archive, and is a new concept of building which I think I'm gonna carry into other builds as well. So this is by far the biggest project ever. I mean, this is it from the inside. There's a block up there that's missing. We need to fix that right away. Yeah, let's... Hold on. This is gonna require some... Look at that. So yeah, this is definitely the largest project I have taken on. However, and I'm trying to find a space that I mind in. However, you can't, like, even though this is obviously a lot of blocks, the only real way to visualize that is by the shulkers that I used to hold all the items. So with the shulker farm that I made over in the desert village over there, I've been able to like keep shulker boxes and not have to like reuse them because I only have limited supply. Now that I have infinite supply, I am I'm able to put them into here. So these are all of the shulker boxes that held items and were used to make this build. So yeah, this place took about 3 months to design and build. And this is something that I think I want to use now that my builds, because of the tools that I'm using, because they're going to be so much bigger, more impressive, and ultimately require many more blocks. I think it's going to be really cool to incorporate builds like this that show the that show just how big these projects are, just in a different way. So this is definitely something I'm going to do, and I might even do it in different ways. I might not just have them in, you know, for this one I decided to put them in a temple design in chests, but I think with another project that I'm going to show a bit later on, I might actually use those shulkers to design a statue or use in a wall design or something like that, and just use, like, show how the project has been made using different parts of using features of the game, such as shulker boxes, which ultimately everyone uses when they want to do big like Magicka builds. Okay, so that pretty much shows off this whole district, which is huge and obviously still needs a lot of work. I think the main bit of work needs to be done here and like this space and that space. So the north and south. I would say like well, that bit not so much, but at least the western district is done, I would say, to like mostly done, I would say. So with that, let's fly over the city of Hanami and show off well, another set of mountains. Now these ones I designed and are, well, not better, but these ones were actually built for the world, as in I designed them in a creative copy of the world, so that these could already fit into the landscape, which I think you can see. You know, these already feel pretty connected into what I'm doing. But from behind, my main base was awful because these walls, which are only a block, like a couple blocks thick, were just completely blank from the back, and they still are. But I decided that instead of just, I don't know, making a big empty space, or even just copying this design onto the back, no, I decided that I was just gonna collect a ton more blocks and make a wonderful new landscape. This one I really like. It's kind of just covered in snow, so it's kind of hard to see, but I think it looks great. You know, I still, the thing is that a lot of this is sort of just, I feel like I keep saying like, oh yeah, one day this will be finished, and it will be. Mark my words, for the 10,000 Days World Tour, this is all going to be clean and wonderful and This is a complete lie, by the way. There'll be so much undone. But yeah, my plan is to at least have, you know, the main sights to see completely sealed up and looking pretty. Which actually, I have done. Because there was a big open space that I said needed something, and I did that. And that is the next place I'm going to show you. So, let's go down these stairs, which you may remember. Well, you may not, because it was like, I don't know, like a year, 2 years ago since I think I showed this place off. But this used to be a massive open space, and it is now decorated. I mean, it's still quite empty, but the whole this used to just be like a stone collection room and didn't really serve anything. So you may remember this little perimeter right here, which I built up. But it was not connected to my main base, so I tunneled this way and then realized, okay, well, to connect it up that way, I'm gonna need a big ass room, because why not? So yeah, I designed this room, and I think that it works really well. Over this way as well, you may remember this place. This is the resin farm, which I have shown before. So this was here, and then I added this tunnel, and then these stairs, which take us all the way down, through the tunnel, across the bridge, to my creeper farm, which I think works really, really well. I did actually also design this floor, and then like these places, because this was all unfinished. But this is what I want to do with my world. I want to have everything seamless, walkable, connected, and just have really fun little things, including this floor, which is obviously like the very common fog effect. However, I put my own little twist on it. So these stars are actually reminiscent of the room that was here before. We can actually see that room if we go up this way. There's a little door here. So yeah, this is what it used to be. Just a big stone room that just existed. It was just negative space that just did not. It was just not. It just wasn't it, right? And I actually used this big open space to farm trees. And so I put like these like lines of dirt and would grow spruce trees and then tear them down. And this was before I had an anti-Enderman grief mod, which basically meant that Enderman picked up the big dirt strip and just took it to the like fucking far lands, apparently. And so this space was just littered with random blocks. So all of the sea lanterns that you can see are those random blocks that were just kind of there, which is why they're so randomly placed. And then the end rods that are here are where the original torches were to light up the space. So there are reminders of what this place used to be, whilst also being a quite a pretty room, I think. It's meant this is called the Mirage Halls. Like, it's meant to be a little dreamy with, like, you know, the void sort of eating this space. But I think it connects quite well, you know, with my Nether hub and that sort of stuff. You know, those I guess subconscious connections between those different places just make the whole space seem like one connected project, rather than just a bunch of random cities and stuff just connected with paths but still so distant, you know. Because even if there are two cities, like on opposite sides of a land, the space in between is going to be used. If it's for travel, if it's for, you know, there might be other settlements, there might be campsites, there'll be trade, you know, that sort of thing. Like there's always something. There's never really negative space. And also showing, you know, the nature and, you know, the trees, the water, the animals that might be living there. That's the sort of stuff that gets me excited about Minecraft, is being able to basically make symbiotic relationships. Like you can depict them and show them just how they are in real life, but having also like fantasy twists and that sort of stuff, and being able to walk through it as well. This wall can actually take us out of the city like that, and we're gonna go this way to another room which needed to be filled. You may remember from the last tour I showed off this new armory, which has all my previous armor sets. If you don't know, I change my armor trims around every time my world has its birthday. We're sitting up, I think I'm at like nearly 3.5 years, I think. It'll be 4 years on the 18th of November. I know when the birthday is, but I don't know when the 6th. I think it's in June that the 3.5 year mark will come. And I also changed the elytra and all of that. However, there was one place up this way which was an empty room and is now quite a decorated space. Again, this was something I designed in creative. You know, a lot of what I did this 1000 Day Arc was designed in creative, and it was just because I had all these tools and I was like, you know, I can make really, really detailed spaces possible. Like, because there are so many different types of blocks, I wouldn't really think about using them, because you know, for example, why would I go and get resin and put it in this space? Because it means I have to fly all the way over that way. I have to go and farm it and then bring it here. Like, that whole trip between the storage room often for me breaks. It often means it sort of limits me in some ways. Like, when I'm just building normally, I'll collect blocks that I think I might use and then start building with them. But I hate having to, you know, fly back in between the storage room, the farms. I don't really enjoy that when I'm just trying to build. Which means that if I'm in creative mode, I can just go ham on I can just go crazy with all of the blocks that I want to use, and then deal with the consequences of trying to farm them all up. Farm them all up later on. Jumping this way, this is the bedroom, which I think I've shown before, and up this way it connects us back outside of Hanami Castle, which was actually, if you don't know, this was my first base in the world, and you can see just how much I've come along with building and stuff. But I still like this place a lot. That actually takes us quite nicely around to the final two spaces that I want to show for this 1000-day adventure. Actually, I haven't even really addressed the elephant in the room. I've just hit 9,000 days, which is crazy. Wait, how many hours is that? Let me work this out. That is now officially 3,000 hours. Also, because I have not slept. Wait. Yeah, I have not slept in this world once, which means I play through every single night and every single day, which does mean, yes, I have 36,500 phantom kills. As you will remember, this space was made a little while ago, and with it, 2 characters who are inhabitants of this world, and are quite important in terms of you know, the story of the world. But this picture frame was kind of just floating and did not really fit. So, as is the thing with a lot of the projects in this time around, I put some mountains behind it. So it's nothing too crazy, but just some, you know, simple blocks, mostly grass and cobbled and stone, and they just wrap quite nicely around. This, you know, this was just a quick thing, but quite an important change in terms of, you know, adding something here to sort of finish this area off, and it blends quite well into something that I really wanted to be done by the time I did the world tour, but it's not quite done, and it is that way. So you will remember this great big moon that I made, and with the sunken star city, it actually makes the image which is on the world map. However, it was always my intention to put something on it. So this white outline you can see here is the outline, and actually this shape here is the outline for a project which I have decided to call the Grey Havens, which is a collection of, oh yeah, there's this I did some mountains again. As you can see, yeah, there's a whole big gap here. It's meant to have a building in it. But I was able to get quite a lot of it done. This was designed in Axiom, by the way. But this whole project has been created for basically one still image, which I intend to show you in just a minute. These mountains have been made with white glass, and I think it actually makes a really interesting effect. You can sort of see through it, but it still maintains its shape, which is quite cool. And then there's all of these quartz pillars with prismarine, and then this main building right here. And the reason for this big cutout here is not because it's unfinished. That is actually a design feature for this place right here. Now I'm going to put the shaders off for this because I have to put my render distance up quite a lot. So let me render all this in. Oh my, this place is very big and very impressive and very cool, if I do say so myself. So you can see the sun is very slowly setting, and that is what this place is for. This place is designed to catch the sun at 7 PM. It's moving through the crest at the top. We're going to see it slowly come into view now. I mean, this build is just like effortlessly dramatic because of how the sky seems to just light up everything here. Right there. There you go. That was it held. It will now set beneath the cathedral. And the sun will, the sun and the moon will rise in its place. I think that is a really cool depiction of the relationship between the sun and the moon. I mean, just look at this place. This place is huge. That is 100,000. Actually, it's 150,000 blocks of glass. I think about 30,000 quartz blocks. I would say at least 10,000 prismarine. Yeah, this place is pretty ridiculous. And was so nearly done, at least like the first part. It was so nearly done. But alas, there are these some walls and buildings on the other side that I still didn't get to do. But that will be done for the next 10... well, it'll be done for the next world tour, which will be 10,000 days. Hopefully, you know, unless I don't die or anything. Oh. Yeah, as I was saying, hopefully I don't die. I think that will be the end of today's video, which feels kind of surreal. Like, I feel like it wasn't that long ago that I did the last world tour. And I know I don't really do any other videos other than the world tours. And I know I've said countless times that, like, oh yeah, you know, I'm going to stream and all the rest of it. And I did a little bit ago, but yeah, I have been focusing on other things. So, as is tradition, I think we'll wait up here. And I guess you guys can say goodbye to the world for another few months, as I will be fighting a ton of those guys. Oh, it's raining. I have to say goodbye to you in the rain. Actually, it looks kind of good in the rain, no? Yeah, the next time you'll see this world... Oh, it's a thunderstorm. Wow. Well then, I think this is a telling tale. I think this is a telling sign that's going to be dramatic. This better not be foreshadowing that I'm going to die, because I did not intend on doing that. Regardless of that, yeah. I will see you hopefully soon. Wish me luck with this next 1,000 days. And I promise you that by the time you see this world next, I will have probably the best video on my channel, which will be the 10,000 days world tour. And I really, really hope that everything that I've started will be a finished product and tied together by that time. I really hope so. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. It means so much to me. And like, one of my favorite things about this is that I get to share it with people online, and I always have like the loveliest comments ever. It's so sweet, and I love it so much. If you would like to be part of this world in some way, I do have this, and it is actually I'll go through this very slowly. This is all of the subscribers that I know of. There are many more than that, but sometimes the notification like doesn't come through. So you need to have like a public account or something like that for your like your name to come through. But if you would like to be part of that book, you can just, well, you can just sort of ask to be for now, because like there aren't that many of you. If I get like 1,000 of you, that might be a bit tricky, but I will try. Oh my goodness. I'll fix my aim for the next World War II. For the next World War II, for the next world tour, bro. I need to. I'm gonna. Right. I will be back. Mark my words. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah. As I was saying. Shit. So yeah, if you would like to be part of this in any way, then please subscribe or just say in the comments, "Yo, can I be in the book?" And I'll put you in the book. Maybe I'll turn that into something at some point for viewers. I would really like to stream again, but I'm gonna be starting uni come September time, so I have a feeling that progress on this world and stuff will definitely dwindle. But that's okay, because this is my forever world. This is my hardcore world. I've now had for 9,000 days. This world is called A Journey Through My Dreams, and I think it will always be that for years to come. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Oh my god, that was fire, bro! That was lightning for the. Oh, that was okay. That was really cool.